toilet seat or something like that, or the hammer, or the.
That would just be something to see.
Oh, yeah.
They are massive. Oh my gosh.
I like how it's standing in the middle of 58.
That's the best
Yeah.
picture. That's amazing.
Well, Andy Nelson said he crossed the road in front of him on where Dwayne
Come out
Wilson's
of
or
their housing,
Yeah.
right?
Did you get a picture?
No, I don't think so. I haven't heard if he did. Yeah, but that one was R&V Pursuits. They have a Facebook page, and they posted, they were doing the youth hunt.
Yeah.
And these young kids were watching. And he has really good high quality camera equipment, and the bull was just grazing along. And it looked like it was a ways away from the kids, but it's hard to say sometime in those videos, the depth,
Oh,
how
I
far
guess,
away
yeah.
they are, but.
R&V pursuits?
R&V, I think, RV, are like for Ridge and Valley Pursuits.
Oh, RV.
That
So
type of thing.
with those in Black River Falls, was that a herd that was introduced into the state
Yep,
for hunting down the road?
eventually, yeah. They do, last year they've been issued just a handful of tags a year.
10 or something.
There was a person 2 years ago that got, well, she ended up shooting two. She had, she didn't have a tag. She had a whitetail tag, and she shot one, and then she ended up shooting another, and she reported it. I don't know whatever happened, but it was like, she shot, I think, a doe and a bull and a doe, or I was like, but yeah, there are, you can put in for tags, but last year they only gave out one or seven. Okay.
Yeah, but I think 5 went to.
Oh, no, that's right, the Native American.
Native Americans like the wolves.
Mhm.
Oh, is it Ridge and Valley Pursuits?
Maybe it's Ridge and Valley Pursuit, yeah.
All right, let me see.
I just know the R&V is for Ridge and Valley, but.
Okay. Oh, yeah, here it is. Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
7 o'clock. Call the order verification of meeting notice.
Posted on the web.
Email.
Okay, 2 then, roll call.
Mrs. Blazinski.
Here.
Mr. Brisboy.
Yes,
Mrs. Farian.
Yes.
Mr. Lewis.
Yes.
Mr. Manning. Mrs. Peterson.
Yes.
Mrs. Rowe.
3 then, approval of the agenda.
I would so move as presented.
Moved by Mr. Brisboy, is there a second?
I'll second.
By Ms. Blazinski, all in favor of approving the agenda as presented, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Okay, and is approved. 4 then, approval of the minutes of October 7th, 2020 meeting.
That's good to me.
Yeah, the only thing that I noticed was way down by the, to adjourn, I believe, to close session. There wasn't like it was yes, and then it did say it. It had all of our names and then it said motion carried.
And then, oh, we should put a yes in there.
But it should either not have names and just say motion carried, or we all need yeses.
Those right
That's
in
all
there.
that I saw.
A motion to approve the minutes as corrected.
Also move.
Mrs. Peterson, is there a second? Mrs. Variance, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Motion carries. 5 then, citizens forum. Any citizens wishing to speak?
I'm here for 8.2, and then I was just wondering if there was an update on the athletic camera.
That's also on here somewhere, isn't it?
Yeah.
I
So-
saw it.
Okay, there.
There's a donation on
Oh,
there.
it's a donation. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, well, we have some donations, and I signed an order for something today. I can't remember what it was though.
and I asked Adam, and Adam had the concession stand at the football field had been wired. And he said he was ordered, he had to narrow down to 2 cameras, but both were on back order, but that was over a week ago that I talked to him. So and he said the computer or whatever would go, that he didn't seem to have too much of a problem. He said the computer
Yeah,
would just.
that's what I signed for, the laptops with the board on it for the audio part.
So it's in process. I guess that's as much as I know.
Yeah.
I thought the wrestling club was going to be, somebody told me the wrestling club, was I talking to?
Was gonna donate. I got a
Yeah.
call from Coach Clary, and he
Oh,
wanted
it
to know
was Coach.
how
It was Coach.
to donate. I said, give me a check.
Yeah.
Or cash.
Show me the money.
Yeah. Take it out to Ithaca School District. I mean, that's how hard it was, so.
That's it. Yep, Troy talked to me about it. So,
Anything else? Okay, 6 then, committee report and minutes, 6-1, finance and personnel from October 12th earlier this evening.
We've had a few checks of interest. We had 2 checks to Arneson for bus maintenance, $15,049.76, and then another one for $2,943.41. That was just getting all the buses up and running for the year. We had a CISA 2 check for $14.70.45. It was the 51 Zoom licenses for all the teachers and some PALS assessment charges. We paid Rundle Spence $2,010 for the hand washing stations that we put outside the bathrooms. And then we paid Foster Plumbing $1,914 to install them, and also the bottle filtration fountain that we approved. And CDI Computer Dealers, $2,800.75 for the elementary bags for the electronics to take them home. And then we had our Cisco 3-year license to CDW government for $5,752.80. And we briefly discussed the budget, but there wasn't a lot. Did you want to address that, Cheryl, or? A lot to say, I know.
There's nothing extra in it. It's just wages, bennies, and whatever was approved for classroom purchases.
We talked about how much money we'd spent out of the COVID so far, but we have ongoing costs, so I think that's all we talked about.
Okay with that.
Right, yeah.
That's to be paid out of that yet.
Yeah.
There's
Oh,
no
correct,
proof that
correct,
hasn't come
yeah.
up yet.
Yeah,
None of that stuff, put back over or whatever, so.
Yeah,
it's still
those
coming.
computers haven't come out of that yet that we have for the elementary, or not computers, but what are they? The little tablets or whatever. Yeah.
Yep,
for the
Chrome tabs. I
virtual
call
learning.
them.
for
Chrome
the
tabs?
Younger
Chrome
ones.
tabs.
Right, and we'll probably need cases for those too.
No, those come
Yeah.
with
It's supposed to
something.
be all inclusive.
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect, all right. Okay, that's all we got.
Any other questions, comments for finance and personnel? No? Okay, then 6-2, then curriculum from October 1.
Is Kathleen on? I was not at the meeting.
I wasn't either, the door was locked.
I'm here.
I'm not kidding. I come up and boom, like I wasn't sure if the meeting was
Oh,
canceled.
we
I
had
saw
the meeting. Yeah, what time did you come?
7 o'clock or whatever it said. I came up to the door and,
Oh, my
okay,
goodness.
don't need to be subtle. I wasn't
I
necessarily.
guess they don't want me here, huh?
They're blocking you, but I'm.
Okay, so, but Kathleen has the report. I noticed it's on here too.
Yep.
She's got 2 curriculum reports.
So we just talked at the meeting, we just talked about the update for the school year and how, we're rolling out Schoology, and along with that, the use of Zoom for, at that point, a few virtual kids, and how the challenges for the staff. We talked briefly about if we had to close, and then I shared with them just some things that we're using for digital instruction. Just a general meeting. I do applaud the staff. They're working really hard to make a bad situation as best as it can be. And so, yep, it was just a short meeting. I just wanted to not have curriculum be not part of what we do every day.
Any questions, comments? Okay, seeing none, then we'll move on to 7 reports. 7-1, District Administrator's Report.
So I just did my report today. Apologize. I had been camping all weekend. It was very nice. A few too many mosquitoes. On my report is I just took a screenshot of how many people had coronavirus in Richland County and how many had, the dashboard is here so that, again, when we talk about, when we meet next, we'll have some numbers to look at to compare it to. And then I took, I got a very long email from Mike Thompson. He's my superior at DPI, and it talks about the ESSER funds. So ESSER funds are one of the relief funds that the school districts can use. Now we have to go apply for them, not really apply, we have to go put our expenditures into the WISE system. So, but I just threw that in there for your reading pleasure. You want to learn all about ESSER funds. So today, 300 positive tests in as of from Richland County all the way through to today, 300. Active cases currently are 181. There were 11 hospitalized over the whole thing and 5 deaths. So that's it, but I knew we'd want to have numbers for next time.
Anything else?
How many total cases again, Julie?
300 exactly.
It's actually been updated to
Yeah.
303 today.
Yeah.
Okay, so I took it off of their website today.
Yeah, if they updated it after that.
Yep, so. Actually, if it's only 303, that's pretty good.
It is, because that's only 3 new cases, but, you know, usually from Sunday to Monday, it doesn't go up a lot,
Right.
so.
That's our low day.
So,
Any other questions, comments? Okay, then, 7.2 then, business managers report.
The 1505 annual financial report and the special ed annual report and the school level financial annual report all have been done and submitted. AODA grant claim final, and the mental health final claim, and the safety grant, the second one. All those claims have been done. Third Friday pupil count, our numbers as of this morning were 300, so we're down 6 from last year as far as residency count. But we found 3 kids that we should have claimed that we will be amending our report because they moved into the district and we did not know. So we will be amending, so it'll be 303.
So that 300 is just resident kids. It
That's
doesn't
just
include-
resident, yep.
Okay.
Yep. There was 400 and, trying to remember how many were in the building. 406,
Okay.
I think, or maybe 408. I think we were down like 30 kids.
Okay.
we're down.
There's links there to the budget hearing publication and the budget hearing notice, which are going in the paper this week and next week, our annual meeting. The publication that the booklet is there. I don't have the link there because it's a work in progress, but I'll probably put the link out there so you guys can see it as it's almost done, but it's not quite. Aid will be certified on the 15th, which is what, Thursday, I believe. So then we'll know what our aid will be, and then I can rework the revenue limit and switch those numbers around in the budget. Refinancing is done and over with, and funds have been received and paid out. I still have to build the debt issue for the second one on the DPI website. So I'll have to go in and show that we paid off this portion of it in those 5 years that we're not callable. We'll still be there on that, and then there'll be a new issue for the rest of it. So I have to build those yet, which is on my to-do list this week. And that's pretty much all I have.
Any questions, comments? Okay, and then 7.3, principals report, Mr. Leckers.
Well, today was the first day that all students were virtual. It was certainly quiet around school, but walking into each classroom, I heard an awful lot of energy. There was a lot of really good conversations going on with the staff and different students. The expectation is that the students will continue to Zoom in and continue to get the best instruction that they can. But I thought the conversations today were very good. The last couple of weeks have been very fluid, to say the least. Last Monday was our first grade check. Most of the students did quite well. The staff and the students have been doing extremely well following our protocols for in-person and virtual learning. I just wanted to commend the students and the staff for how well they adjusted in the first 4 to 5 weeks of all the new protocols that we had in regard to the COVID strategies that we were using. Most of the virtual students have been Zooming in and getting their assignments. The middle school, everyone has finished their iReady initial tests. We did have homecoming weeks or homecoming activities this week. Even though we found out later in the week that, our homecoming game was going to be away. But again, it was no problem. Nobody had big concerns about it. Our daily activities for homecoming went on. We had some really good costumes. I will have to say Mr. Trepon probably had one of the best. I'd like to give special kudos to Ms. Sprecher and the high school student council, along with Ms. Hilby and the middle school student council. They really stepped up, and under kind of adverse circumstances, we had an awful lot of fun, especially on Friday. And I was surprised to see that the freshmen won the Spirit Award. And obviously the travel wasn't bad for our football team. I did watch them on the video, and they played very well and came away with their first win. So going forward, there are still going to be adjustments that the staff and students will have to make to this virtual learning experience, but I'm confident that we will overcome any challenges that are presented as long as we stay together and focus on the task at hand. I did want to add that I have received some phone calls from some parents. They were asking about the length of school and the school day and things like that, and why we went with 25 minutes as opposed to 44 minutes, or as opposed to our Wednesday that we had 15 minutes previously. After explaining our reasoning, everyone came away with a, pretty good idea that they thought this was probably the best way to do it.
Any other questions, comments?
I guess I'm not aware of what the length of class time is or what it actually is supposed to be now that we're virtual. So I don't know if any notice went out to the parents.
Yes, on Friday it did.
Mrs. Shane sent out an email, and since she's the elementary principal, you might not have looked at it, but at the bottom then, I happened to notice that it said, there was a link that said middle school and high school schedule, virtual schedule, but it was at the bottom of one of Mrs. Shane's emails.
All right.
Yeah,
Another parent asked me too, so.
Yeah, we thought it would be best to be on one email so that it wasn't, they weren't inundated with emails.
So is it 5 days all the same? And
Yes.
okay.
It starts at 7:55. There's no passing time. There is a lunch. And we have a tack time in there too. For a small group, and the expectation that the teachers have, what time is the last class end? 12:30?
12:20.
12:20. And then from 1 to 3:30, the teachers are supposed to be in their room in front of their Zoom for students to ask questions. They can be working, but that way any kid can go, oh, I don't get this. So I can click into Mr. DuPont's Zoom, and then I can get some one-on-one help. Or call, either way. There was a balance between all day, a lot of parents said that's not going to work. The little ones don't have their devices, so that's not even a good option. But for third grade on up, the teachers, all the kids have the device, and they worked. I wasn't here, so I told Kathleen and Chris that was their thing to do, and they many meetings talking with the teachers, lots of emails back and forth about who wants what, and the balance between parents that have no access and no device, or really poor access. Like today, we got quite a few phone calls from parents because it was raining. Their access wasn't that great, which I can vouch for that. That happens at my house. And then it's impossible to learn because your internet's not even working. So that's a balance. And if we had great internet, that wouldn't be a problem, but we don't have that here yet, so.
And one of the questions was also that, well, the kids that were virtual to start with, they were going from 755 to 325. And we understood that, but those were people that had planned and that had requested to go virtual. The other ones that were putting on virtual, you know, another 300 and some kids really hadn't planned for it. We also looked at data from other schools around the state on how long that they have kids in front of the screen. And we took that into account.
Any other questions, comments? If not, then 7.4, Principals Report, Machines Report.
Shelley, I just resent that to you so that it would come to the top of your email list.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Highlights of last month. Across the building, different people have become experts in different aspects of instructional technology and are sharing their knowledge to lighten the load of their colleagues. A lot of new learning happening just with the adults in the building. This I added before we went virtual, but the majority of our students, elementary, have remained in person all of this time. About 10 to 12% of the elementary students were virtual by choice. As families experience COVID within the family, students have been out for brief periods of time. Some have chosen to go virtual as a precautionary measure. The teachers take these changes in stride, engage all students, whether in person or on the Zoom call. In fact, in light of the fact that we live in a limited Wi-Fi area, families are doing exceptionally well connecting their children with the teachers. It is obvious our families value the expertise of our teaching staff. The support staff deserve high accolades from all of us. From the beginning, they've been very accommodating, flexible with their time and talents, and helped without question. During the last 2 weeks, when the cases in the county rose sharply, which affected our staff families, either by quarantining from potential exposure to teaching virtually because of exposure, the support staff began each day with a new schedule, an upbeat and positive attitude, and were there to truly support both the students as well as the staff. I am so thankful for each and every one of them. Along with our support staff digging in, we've had substitutes who at a moment's notice stepped in to take over. Without both the support staff and the substitutes, we would have had to close earlier than we did. It's because everyone stepped up and pitched in for supervision and teaching that we did so well. With the decision to go 100% virtual for the next 3 weeks, parents have emailed their concerns about this. Problems they are facing include access to technology. 4K through 2 do not have school-provided devices yet. Adequate Wi-Fi, childcare as most parents continue to work, lost learning time with the teacher. When talking with staff, there is concern for the students' learning, as well as concern for the health of students and staff when in person. Before the October 26th board meeting, at which the shutdown will be reviewed, I ask that staff and parents of elementary students be surveyed so we know the desires of both groups. Of course, if the county health department indicates we need to be closed, that will supersede our wishes. K2 technology, I am disappointed to say that the devices are still on back order. Latest information is early December. Mrs. Zaria was able to give each student a book to take home. Thank you again, Ms. Zaria, for putting books into the hands of our students. And Mrs. Zaria and Mrs. Thompson have worked to move the fall Scholastic Book Fair online this year so that families still have access to purchasing books. Orders of $25 or more will ship to students' homes for free. Additionally, Scholastic will donate 25% of all purchases back to our school. Before elementary students went home on Friday, they were given a free book purchased through money Scholastic had donated back to us from past book fairs. Ms. Zaria and Ms. Thompson continue to find creative ways to provide students access to books, whether we are in the building or virtual. That is my report. Any questions?
I might have missed it, but is there a link coming home to the parents for the Scholastic Book Fair then? Or did I miss it already? Or maybe on the Facebook page?
It's on Facebook.
Is it? Okay, never mind.
It went out to the elementary. I'm not sure if it went out to middle school, high school.
Okay, I'll look on the Facebook page. Kelly says
I
it's
think I
there.
read something about it.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments?
Julie Thompson said a link was sent in the letter too. So
Okay,
the family email, so check into that.
okay, thank you.
Anything else? Okay, 7.5 then curriculum report.
So just a review for so far this year, curriculum work, as we've done the past 3 years, has been put on temporary hold until things settle down. With the new virtual platform Schoology, virtual and in-person students, health of staff and students, we've been unable to continue the good work we have begun. I trust we will return to it yet this year, as it is the right work to align what we do with what students should know and be able to do. Elementary teachers are using digital reading resources, Reading A to Z for the primary and literacy footprints 3rd through 6th, with some middle and high school classes as well. And we have hired William Padilla as our Spanish translator and student assistant. So welcome, William. And that's that.
Anything else? Questions, comments? Okay, if not, then we'll move on to old business. 8.1, discussion possible action on mask requirement.
I probably should not have left the words mask requirement, but I just wanted to make sure that we have a nice discussion. One of the things that we are worried about as the district is that we said we were going to be taking everybody's temperatures. And so for those of you who don't know, those thermometers don't work outside. So if you are okay with it, when they stop working, we'll probably do a media blast, and we might do it now so that we're just ready for it when we start again in 3 weeks. To just say we're not going to be taking temperatures because they're not going to work, and nothing's more frustrating than doing something that doesn't give us any results. But I wanted you guys to know that unless you have a really good idea on how to fix it, we'll have to do the same thing that other districts are doing and say, please monitor your symptoms at home before you come in.
So we would send home the COVID checklist for children that we use at school when a child says they don't feel well. And as an elementary principal, and I'm sure Chris would agree, I would expect all parents to take the responsibility of going through that checklist with their children. And if it says no, send home, then they would keep their child home that day.
No action needed from you. I just needed you to know that that's what we're thinking that we have to do. We do have another board meeting at the end of the month, so if we need to make that an official board vote, we can. Because this one says mask requirement, and I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that.
Any questions, comments? Not then. 8.2, discussion possible action on continued virtual learning. I had just put on there just in case there was anything came up as far as needing to address problems that we saw going virtual, if we needed something different, because we wouldn't have been able to act on it if there was
Nothing there?
nothing there.
Yeah.
So just in case there was all of a sudden we needed something different.
Did Shelley want to?
Yeah, so my only question is, since I wasn't able to come last Wednesday, I guess my understanding is that there was one positive case in the high school, and I guess I didn't know what the thought process was, why the school was shut down, or basically discontinuing in-person learning. And then I looked up the stats that Julie just read off, and 12 hospitalizations, so that told me, well, it's not because the hospitals are inundated. So I guess I just needed an explanation of why we're going virtual, considering that I guess everybody has to know that in-person is best, unless it's the parent's choice to keep the kids at home. I guess I personally worry about suicide with students, and all the students being isolated, and I guess that's my biggest
I can tell you our biggest concern was with the extreme spike in cases that we've had. We had 5 staff members out. And so every time you get a kid that's out or a staff member that's exposed someplace else, that continued stress on our losing staff members, because once we lose the teachers, we're virtual. So we wanted to be able to do it with a plan versus shut down at 6 o'clock at night. Now we're shut down for 2 weeks and no one has anything. Now they've come into Valley since we shut down, and ordered Valley to shut. And that's what we were desperately worried was going to happen, especially with our numbers and our staff, that we didn't want to be, knee-jerk reaction and all of a sudden we're closed, and no one got any chance to do anything. We're hoping that by doing the 2-week, we can slow things down, we can minimize the potential spread that we could have, because with the minimum number of testing that's happened in our county, you can guarantee there's a lot of other cases running around that are asymptomatic that we don't know about.
We did have somebody from the hospital. Unfortunately, Rose was not available. And, she said the numbers as far as the hospitalizations and that does not really reflect that the clinic is packed with people that have the symptoms, the urgent care. And she kind of reiterated just what Steve said, that because of the lack of testing, the Richland County numbers are probably not realistic. There's a lot of asymptomatic.
And granted, people that do test positive have very minimal symptoms, so I feel you really have to go by, how many people is this affecting critically, like they have to be hospitalized. So I guess I just want to express concerns that I truly want you guys to do what's best for the students. And if it's best for the students to be virtual, I understand that. I just needed an explanation because, like I said, I wasn't able to come last Wednesday, so I didn't know where this was coming from.
And it wasn't an easy decision. I mean, it was, the public health was sitting on the fence as to kind of suggesting that this is maybe what you should do, but not ordering it. And then with not having staff, it was not an easy decision. It went back and forth.
And it was a 4-3 vote too, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So,
We all know they're better to be in the building, but the problem is that the thought is if we take that break, instead of let it slow burn through the whole thing, we could be out for 8 weeks, you know what I mean? That if we stop that, take that little break, that hopefully we can start right back up and be back in the first part of November again and be going again. That's our absolute hope and dream that that's what happens.
the big thing was we just didn't want to be caught off guard. Like what happened in the spring, we didn't have any prep time or anything. So that was a point that Steve made a couple of times that really resonated with me. Well, okay, we do this preemptively for a little bit, or now we have kids from Sauk County. So now Sauk County has been ordered to, they said they ordered River Valley to close, so we get a call and say, sorry, you gotta close now. Nobody has their electronics or anything. And we just kind of thought a preemptive strike would be better for the kids. So they know what to expect ahead of time rather than just, here we go. So
So what would be the criteria for going back in person? Do we know?
We'll reevaluate on the 26th, just look at numbers, what case numbers, if the numbers are and a lot of it will be, we'll talk to the county health and see what the hopefully we can get the one nurse back on and we can get Rose back on and kind of see if those numbers are leveling off and doing better. I don't think we can say if it's X amount of, numbers, we can go back, but we'd certainly like to see it not doing this, That was the most alarming thing, go from, we went all that whole time from April, we were shut down the whole entire spring with basically
very
nothing.
few.
Right.
And now you look at us, like I said, I looked at it the other day, I saw the chart, I thought it was the colors for the fall leaves. You know what I mean? It's like dark red. And so, Wisconsin is the worst in the nation right now for cases per capita. The worst in the
We
nation.
were number 3, but we
were number 1.
So it's
Sorry.
we're having our time in the sun right now, and hopefully, we can go by. And the problem isn't just the health of the students. We've got to consider the health of our staff and even the staff's family, because you expose the staff, you expose the family. So that's kind of all those things were considered, and hopefully by doing it, we can get back quickly. Any other questions, comments?
We do have one staff member in the hospital right now.
Okay, then we'll move on to 9, new business. 9.1, discussion possible action on bills and balances. So we had total receipts of $716,090.44 and total disbursements of $376,475.58.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded by Mrs. Blazinski and Mrs. Peterson to accept bills and balances as presented. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Blazinski,
Yes.
sorry, dry throat. Mr. Brisboy,
Yes.
Mrs. Varian,
Yes.
Mr. Lewis,
Yes.
Mr. Manning, Mrs. Peterson.
Yes.
9.2 then, discussion possible action on moving teacher workday from October 3rd to January 22nd.
So we did not have the school fair in our traditional way, which was usually a very big, large workday for the staff. And so because we have we put 3 of the workdays that we had within the calendar back in the summer to get trained, we thought we could plop one of those back in there because we just told the staff they could have that day off. So the most logical place to put it would be right between the semesters.
You need any action on that or just information on what?
I think since it's a contract
Contract.
and the calendar thing, it won't affect the students, of course, but the staff members would then have they have a work day, they would have an in-service day.
I would move to approve this, which the teacher, moving the teacher workday from the October 3rd to January 22nd.
Mr. Brisbois, is there a second?
I'll second.
And then Mrs. Varians, roll call.
Mr. Brisboy.
Yes.
Mrs. Varian.
Yes.
Mr. Lewis.
Yes.
Mr. Manning.
Yes.
Mrs. Peterson.
Yes.
Mrs. Blazinski.
Yes.
9.3, discussion possible action on early college credit applications.
So we only have 2 students, and the problem is that the timing is the colleges have not figured out their schedules yet. So the students kind of just list, they both have like 5 classes on here. Neither one of them are taking 5 classes, but they don't know which ones will fit yet, and you have to apply for them early. If you don't apply now, you can't get in at all, but if you do apply, you can drop out. So they both have 2 students.
Are we putting a limit on the amount they can?
Yeah, we do. We have an 18 credit limit for in their high school.
I would make the motion that we approve with the limit of the 18 credits.
By Mrs. Peterson, is there a second?
Second.
Boys, there's a cost to the school for that, right? So roll call.
Mrs. Varian.
Yes.
Mr. Lewis.
Yes.
Mr. Manning.
Yes.
Mrs. Peterson.
Yes.
Mrs. Blazinski.
Yes.
Mr. Brisboy.
Yes.
9.4 then, discussion possible action on accepting donations. 9.4.1, water bottles, 300 from Delta Dental.
So on the fluke, I saw that out there on their website and I thought, I'm just gonna apply for it.
I did too, but I didn't win.
So anyway.
Okay, motion to accept the 300 water bottles. Mrs. Ferentz, is there a second?
Second.
And Mr. Brisbois, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
All right.
Aye.
And opposed? Thank you, Delta Dental. 9.4.2 then, food service payment for all students from the church,
So that was,
12,500.
I was gonna put the name of the church in there, Viroqua Fellowship. Oh, darn it.
I thought it was a United.
United Methodist is what you had said. the day
Viola?
before.
Yeah, Viola, thank you, Viola.
One of them.
Well, we gotta get the right one.
Yeah,
One of them.
Julie Thompson knows that she's on here. She wanted to say thank you, and I said, just wait, I didn't get it to the board yet. So Lafarge,
Oh,
no, Lafarge?
yes, you're right. It's so far.
Lafarge, thank you, Julie.
Someplace up that way.
It's someplace up that way, but anyway, $12,500 to cover all outstanding lunch debt for our
Negative
students.
balance.
All the negative balances. It's amazing.
Cool.
Extremely generous.
Yes.
Yeah.
Motion to accept that.
I'll make that motion.
Ms. Pearson, there's a second.
I'll second.
Roll call on that.
Mr. Manning. Mrs. Peterson.
Yes.
Mrs. Blazinski.
Yes.
Mr. Brisboy.
Yes.
Mrs. Varian.
Yes.
Mr. Lewis.
Yes. 943, athletic camera setup from Nelson Family Basketball Boosters for 500 each. We got to do two separate,
Now
or
you
one motion.
can get it together.
Well, the basketball boosters isn't something that we would have to technically accept. But I wanted to recognize them because
Absolutely. Good idea.
they contributed.
Been moved by Mr. Brisboy, right?
Yes, so moved by me.
Your second? Mrs. Burns, roll call, please.
Mrs. Peterson.
Yes.
Mrs. Blazinski.
Yes.
Mr. Brisboy.
Yes.
Mrs. Varian.
Yes.
Mr. Lewis.
Yes.
Mr. Manning.
Yes. Okay, then 95, discussion possible action on setting committee dates.
So with the finance and personnel, will we have, do we need the full hour? We will have had the annual meeting.
I don't think so.
26, this would be the next,
This
this would be
is for
November
our
9th.
finance.
For the November 9th, the next regular board meeting would be the 9th.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
So we can.
Well, I mean, we
6:30?
Just go at 6:30.
typically meet at
Mhm.
6:30.
Right.
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah. Okay.
At 6:30.
Change that to
I'll
6:30.
make a
Okay.
motion. You want me to make a motion? Make a motion to approve finance and personnel for Monday, November 9th at 6:30 PM.
And I'll second that.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Okay, motion carries. That's set for November 9th then. Policy 952, Wednesday, October 21 at 5.
I'll make a motion to approve the policy meeting at Wednesday, October 21st at 5 PM.
Your second? And Mrs. Variance, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? 953, Buildings and Grounds, Wednesday, November 4th at 6:30. Yeah, we have that on there already.
We do.
Yeah, so that's just informational, that was already set. Good with you, Rand?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Thanks for being honest.
you'll be on a side hill in a combine. Okay, then 954, curriculum, Thursday, December 3rd.
I'll make that motion.
Mrs. Peterson, is there a second? And all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Next board meeting, November 9th, is that, I don't think we'd set that yet.
I don't think we have either.
Okay. So a motion to set the next board meeting, November 9th,
I also move.
by Mr. Brisboy. Is there a second?
Okay.
Second by Mrs. Blazinski, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And we need to set another one on the October 26th after the annual meeting.
All right.
Is there a motion to set
I'll make that motion.
by
That we
Mrs.
set.
Peterson? Is there a second? Mrs. Variance, all in favor of setting a regular school board meeting after the annual meeting on October 26th? Time will be to follow the meeting.
And the
Who
annual
made the
meeting starts-
motion? Sorry.
I made the
We're
motion.
trying
We're trying to type
to
this
type
in here real
over
quick.
each
yeah.
other.
And Steve, the annual meeting starts at 7.
Yeah. 7 is
Seconded
the
by
annual meeting,
Mrs.
right?
Variance.
I think so. I need 7.
Yeah, that's
We're
what I
gonna
have.
follow.
So it's been moved and seconded to set a regular board meeting after the annual meeting on the 26th. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Okay, that's set. And 10, adjourn to closed session in Wisconsin statute 19.851C for consideration, employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercise responsibility. 10.1, discussion regarding performance evaluation of district staff, district employee, teaching staff, administration, and or coaching staff. This will be in what? Not less than 5 minutes, but could be more.
I will move to go into closed session.
By Mr. Brisbois, is there a second? Variance, roll call, please.
Mrs. Blazinski.
Yes.
Sorry. Mr. Brisboy.
Yes.
Mrs. Ferriant.
Yes.
Mr. Lewis.
Yes.
Mr. Manning.
Yes.
Mrs. Peterson.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
Get the video camera.
All righty
first.
then, reconvene to open session
Recorded for all time.
I gotta get.
I'll make that
back up here.
motion.
by Mrs. Peterson. Is there a second?
Second.
By Mr. Brisbois. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed, we're in open session. 11.1 then, discussion possible action on paying speech teacher extra days.
10, please.
10 extra days
I'll make that motion.
by Mrs.
Are you
Peterson.
getting this because mine went to sleep?
Yes. Motion made by Mrs. Peterson.
Seconded by Mrs. Ferriant. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Blazinski.
Yes.
Mr. Brisboy.
Yes.
Mrs. Ferriant.
Yes.
Mr. Lewis.
Yes.
Mr. Manning.
Yes.
Mrs. Peterson.
Yes.
Motion carries in. 11.2, discuss and possible action on dedicated substitute teachers. The proposal is to pay a dedicated sub $125 a day,
Yes.
and then we would have subs that we have now apply for the dedicated sub position.
Yes.
So is there a motion to set up a dedicated sub pay at $125
I'll make that motion.
by Ms. Blazinski? Is there a second?
Second.
Signify by, roll call,
Oh,
please.
wait, who seconded?
Mr. Brisbois.
Mr. Brisboy.
He did say Mrs. to throw ya.
I know, but we typed it wrong. So go ahead with the roll call, Chair.
Oh, okay. Mr. Brisboy.
Yes.
Mrs. Ferriant.
Yes.
Mr. Lewis.
Yes.
Mr. Manning.
Yes.
Mrs. Peterson.
Yes.
Mrs. Blazinski.
Yes.
Okay, then 12 is adjourned. A motion to adjourn. Mrs. Ferriant, is there a second?
Nobody wants to.
Nobody wants to go. I'll second.
Waiting for that guy over there with the hat.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, adjourned.
Everybody
Thank
just
you,
wants to
everybody.
hang out with everybody else.
The last two share because I'm putting
I did.
yeses.
When you think of it, can you?
And we
please
got the
send those
first
out?
and
I
second
did.
and above, right?
Yep, I got the other ones. I might have spelled somebody's name wrong in there because I was trying to just get
Okay,
the-
perfect.
most of the name in.
Let me see if I can find one that's.
I have signatures.
Oh. Maybe I can. And you.
My favorite, yeah, don't walk off.
Are there any treasures or not?
Last year, Randy, what was it, December what, when we were
Okay.
combining
All
those
right.
meetings? and there were
Call you,
still-
Ron.
I know, it is
So
the case.
annual reports and third Friday count, which is gonna have to be amended, so don't even sign this one.
See you.
Sorry.
All right.
Amend it.
There should be a text email with you coming. Oh, okay.
Ending the meeting. Sorry, Zoom people, I have to end the meeting.
What?